There are a lot of cities that claim they have smart city tech and smart city goals, but Barcelona seems to have a pretty well-rounded idea of what it should mean, creating a culture that helps the people living here, and obviously will help some businesses too. And that's one of the reasons that it's kind of a cool city. I really just want to get my friends together, they're experts in this field, and find out what a smart city really is. So what is so cool about a smart city? We're in Barcelona. What's the ROI or whatever?
Smart cities is a big term for essentially mechanizing this city with electronics, with analytics, but it's really important that you start off with the problem you're trying to solve. So for instance, for some cities, traffic is an issue. Using smart cities, you could potentially automatically flash the lights, green, on or off, or have a much more efficient busing system to limit the amount of traffic congestion. And that could save a city billions of dollars from having to build more roads.
When we talk about smart cities and we talk about technology, these are things that last for decades, right? This is a totally different kind of a metric than a smartphone that lasts 2 years, right? And so there are all kinds of questions we don't know the answers to about what's the longevity of this stuff.
I actually think that this is the same conversation that cities had before they introduced electricity and paved roads and even a superhighway.
Frankly, a lot of the technology we need is already here.
Right.
It's really about business models and figuring out, like I said,
government models.
Who pays for it and how that gets done and all those kinds of things.
After talking to Bob and Patrick, I turned to Peter Saney, who's the president of the TM Forum. And their operation is trying to bring big cities together that are grappling with all these issues with the smart city. So Peter, what is the reputation of Barcelona as a smart city?
I think it's a pretty good reputation they have. They're one of the ones in the world that have embraced on a greater scale, on a multitude of applications, and they're also trying to build a backplane where these things can connect together. They've also collaborated with a number of other cities, so I think they have a good reputation. They're one of the leaders.
Is this expensive for cities, or I mean, how are people paying for smart traffic lights or water monitoring? I mean, how are they supposed to pay for all that?
Well, first of all, you don't pay for it, you reduce the cost of the existing system. I mean, you imagine the cost of physical people walking out in a completely boring job. You have to be at home reading a meter. There's a high associated cost to that, which you can reduce because communication technology is cheap. There is a sensor that you can read this out. You can really socialize the cost, if you will. You can imagine a smart city intelligent backbone. You can recall this in our work, the digital backbone or the digital dial tone.
Okay.
So that all of these apps, all of these sensors, all of the web services can very easily connect to that, and then you can start combining that. Okay. And I think that's, if I look at Barcelona, they have created a number of these ecosystem starts where they could do a little more, is trying to connect them.
After spending 2 days in Barcelona learning about smart cities and smart city technology and the Internet of Things, one thought really comes to mind, and that's that it's a big deal and it's really complicated. But for average people, what's important to remember is that technology like this could make a difference in how we address our scarce resources and how we address growing population. So it might come down to really just having a little better drive to work or a drive to the school with the kids, but it could be something quite a lot bigger, something that could be important for all of us.